Hello, Greater MSP region. This week in the Zoom room, we are talking to two Greater MSP board members who are taking a few minutes from their busy schedules to share one message, and that is apply for the new Paycheck Protection Program. I'm joined by Tim Welsh, who is the chair of the Greater MSP Partnership Board of Directors and also a senior executive at U.S. Bank, and Amy Langer, who is a co-founder of Salo. At this moment, we are all focused on the need to support small businesses and nonprofit employers and prevent as many job losses as possible during this time of crisis. And there are many different and useful programs that are being circulated and discussed. But the Paycheck Protection Program stands out for its scale. And so we're really kind of wanting to raise our hand and call your attention to that today. Tim, could you just describe what the PPP is in simple terms, and why does this solution deserve everyone's attention?
Thanks, Peter, and thank you for doing this because I think it's extremely important to get the word out about the Payroll Protection Program. So what this is, as part of the stimulus that was just passed by Congress, they allocated approximately $350 billion to be used to help small businesses to meet their payroll. And so basically the way this works is it's an enormous amount of money. And what small businesses need to do is to apply for it, letting the government know what your past payroll looked like, and you will then get a check that helps you pay on a go-forward basis for a couple of months your payroll. So this is meant very specifically to address the crisis we're in that is making it so difficult for small businesses to keep their employees on their payroll. This is meant to address that explicitly. And it's a very large amount of money, and we want everybody in this region to apply for it that is eligible. It is specifically for companies that have less than 500 employees, but it also applies to nonprofits and a whole variety of organizations. So it's a very broad-based program, really meant to protect the payrolls of those smaller organizations.
Right. I mean, right now we're in a cash flow crisis, and this is the solution that's been identified. And it's an unprecedented federal intervention. I mean,
it's a huge amount of money.
Like this?
Yep.
So Amy, small businesses and nonprofit leaders right now many of them are in crisis, and they're doing a lot of things. Why should applying for this Paycheck Protection Program be a priority for them?
Well, as a founder and other CEOs I'm talking to, I feel really strongly about looking and preparing and knowing your options with PPP because it is, like you said, incredibly valuable. Our work as leaders has significantly pivoted over the last few weeks to look at scenario planning. And those scenarios include what can we do to kind of preserve our cash flow and mostly to preserve headcount and to preserve jobs. I know all of our leaders are trying to do that as much as possible. And that's what PPP helps with. So I think it's like act now, act fast, know your options, see how it applies to you, and get in line as fast as you can to be able to do this when we start to, I think it's on Friday, where we'll hear a lot more information about it. Is that true?
That's exactly right, Amy. It'll be Friday. Yep.
So let's talk about what you actually would do. So Tim, can you explain who would apply for this and how do you do it?
So any business that has less than 500 people, and that includes, again, nonprofits and other organizations less than 500, should go online now to look at the Small Business Administration website and the Department of Treasury website, which give information about this program. And also the Treasury Department has up the application form that is required.
I also know that there is a lot of information that is going to be requested. So it will put some strains on your financial teams. And I think the strains are well worth pursuing, but it will take some time to get through some of the things that they're asking for or that we presume that they will ask for. So, call to attention now to start getting through some of that stuff.
I mean, I think one of the things that we want to raise to people's attention, this has a little bit of the too good to be true kind of feel to it. So you apply to cover 8 weeks of payroll and some other expenses, and you get a loan, and then your loan is forgiven.
Yeah. This is a critical part of this, Peter, right? That's exactly right. The legislation is written in such a way that if you do all the things that we've just been talking about, You fill out the forms, you apply, you get one of these loans, and you use it for your payroll in 60 days, you can attest to the fact that you have used it as prescribed, and the statute allows for that portion that was used for salaries to be forgiven. So we've never seen anything like this, Peter. As you said before, it is a remarkably generous loan/grant to small businesses to be used specifically to protect jobs.
Right, because this, as we understand it, I mean, this is how the federal government is getting cash into the hands in the payrolls of small enterprises. The financial services industry is really just the intermediary to make that happen.
That's exactly right. Yep.
You know, go ahead.
Sorry, Peter. I can't think of a reason why you would not pursue this. It is absolutely unprecedented, and I would say go fast.
Right, because $350 billion is an enormous amount of resource, but it's a big country, and everybody's going to be applying for this at once, right? So there is an advantage to applying early. You know, we know the state of Minnesota traditionally has not gotten a very significant share of federal dollars relative to other states in the U.S. And this has to be a priority for every enterprise. We're doing this for all the employees of the region and the state. More information is coming out about this later this week, and then again next week. We'll make sure that the links to the sites that Tim mentioned are included along with this video. And then as soon as additional information becomes available, we'll share it out in the Greater MSP social channels and put more information in next week's e-news that comes out from Greater MSP. And this is something that everybody's talking about intentionally, right? We're all trying to raise awareness of this in this moment. Any final thoughts about this?
Peter, I think you said it so well. This is so important for the region. That's why we're doing this with Greater MSP. We want to make sure that all the organizations out there can thrive in this period. And we have identified this, as you said at the beginning, as the most important priority for helping all the employees in this region to be able to get through this time, and for all the small businesses to be able to position themselves to come out of this even stronger.
Well, thank you for taking time to raise awareness of this and for all that each of you are doing every day during this difficult time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Peter.